Good afternoon, it's time for Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. Today we'll join Here and Now reporter Joanne Magley for a look at one of the largest and most important bus fleets in the Southeast. Then it's over to health reporter Stephanie Strong for a look at World Rabies Day and what you should know about rabies. And finally, we'll join Community Information Director Dave Byron in the studio for a discussion with his guest, Mike White, Volusia County's Veteran Services Director. Those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. Stay tuned. The Volusia County Council has adopted a $582 million budget to fund the operations of county government for the fiscal year that begins October 1st. This is a reduction of $7.8 million from the current fiscal year's budget. The budget calls for a general fund property tax rate of $5.88 per $1,000 of taxable property value, which is below the rollback rate. The rollback tax rate produces the same amount of revenue as the current budget year.
We actually run the county government on a sustainable $42 million less per year than we were when I first came here. Now, that means that services have changed in some cases in a way most people would never see the difference. They've been invisible changes without really affecting the quality of life. We're doing it with 600 people less. What that means is individual employees are doing a lot more per person. That's the right way to run the government. All the changes we've made, the reductions have to be sustainable. So the changes we make when we reduce the budget, for example, like I said, the operating budget is $42 million less, has to be run every year $42 million less. So you can imagine the amount of savings. But it's the way it should be, because those are savings in terms of taxes that people didn't have to pay.
While Florida and the nation begin to recover from one of the worst recessions in history, Volusia County is starting to see a slight improvement in unemployment rates, consumer spending, and building activity. However, local property values continue to show a slight decline, and this has reduced county revenues. In fact, between 2007 and 2012, the property values in Volusia County has declined nearly $330 billion. Because the Volusia County Council has taken a very fiscally conservative approach to taxes and spending, property taxes have dropped $42 million, or 18% since 2009. Of the total operating budget for 2012-2013, only 33% comes from property taxes, Deneen noted. Nearly 3/4 of property taxes are used to provide public safety, including funds for the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, beach safety, fire services, corrections, and animal control. Need to find out the latest beach conditions or the closest location for a traffic-free beach area? Well, there's an app for that. Volusia County's Beach Safety Division has launched a smartphone application to help residents and visitors get quick access to important beach information. The app is free and available for download for iPhone and Android devices through the iTunes Store and Google Play, respectively. The Beach Navigator app was developed by Solodev, the county's web design and hosting contractor. Using advanced geolocation targeting, the app provides information for the nearest beach access ramps, parking, lifeguard towers, restrooms, food concessions, and more. It also displays beach conditions and streaming video from live beach cameras, and it pulls data from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, as well as Volusia County's database. Marilyn Chandler Ford, Interim Director of Volusia County's Beach Safety Division, said the app is just another tool to provide beachgoers with a safe and enjoyable experience.
It provides a way for the beachgoer to know where there are no drive zones or family-friendly zones. And the second thing is it allows people to plan their trips before they even get to the beach. They can find out what are the ramps they're going to, what might be congested or closed due to high tide, and what the next closest ramp may be. I think the beauty of it is that we're so used to now having information in the palm of our hands, so it does provide the ability to get that information about the beach, the type of tides, towers that may be manned, even just general beach rules and do's and don'ts right in our fingertips.
Again, the app is available for free download through the iTunes Store and Google Play, respectively. For more information on Volusia County beaches, you can visit volusia.org/beach. Volusia County recently had a very rare and unusual visitor, and the Marine Science Center played a big role in welcoming him. These are photos of the hatchling that was found in a nest excavated by a member of Ecological Associates, the county's environmental consulting firm. After 2 unsuccessful attempts to release it into the ocean, the hatchling was taken to Volusia County's Marine Science Center, where it spent 2 weeks in a shallow pool filled with seaweed and vegetation designed to mimic the ocean. After 2 weeks, the hatchling was deemed strong enough to make it to the ocean on its own and was taken by boat to a seaweed line about 50 to 100 miles offshore in the Atlantic Ocean. The unusual white color of the turtle hatchling is known as leucistic, which means a lack of pigment. A leucistic animal differs from an albino because it has some pigment, either in its skin, feathers, or eyes.
Statistically, it is uncommon to find leucistic hatchlings, but we have seen them in all of the nesting surveys. We come across some every season, and usually if they're strong enough to get back out into the ocean, we can bring them right out and let them go right then. And if they're a little too weak, just like any other hatchling, we can bring them in and feed them up, get them strong, give them some fluids if they're a little dehydrated, and give them the energy that they need before their trip out to sea.
So far this season, there has been 917 sea turtle nests laid on 36 miles of Volusia County managed beaches. This includes 884 loggerhead, 24 greens, 8 leatherbacks, and 1 rare Kemp's Ridley. There are about 200 nests still incubating on the beach. Of the more than 700 nests evaluated, more than 50,000 hatched eggshells have been counted. For more information on the county's sea turtle and bird rehabilitation programs, you can visit marinesciencecenter.com.
Hi, I'm Joyce Cusack, Volusia County Council Member at Large. As tough economic times continue, Volusia County residents and visitors are seeing the value of public transportation. During the last fiscal year, Votran had more than 3.5 million boardings. Votran offers a variety of services, including fixed route buses, a beachside trolley, van pooling, and a gold service for people who can't ride fixed route buses due to disability or age. At $1.25 a ride, Votran drives a great bargain. For more information about Votran, visit Votran.org.
What travels 25,000 miles a day carrying more than 25,000 children? The school buses of Volusia County School System, one of the largest school transit bus fleets in the Southeast. Joanne Magley has more on this massive transit operation in this week's Volusia Here and Now report.
When you drop your children off at the school bus stop, do you ever think about the business behind getting them to and from school?
We're our own business, and you can think of us as our own business. We have our own finance department, our own routing department, and we have operations in a fleet section. And so everybody has to work together as a team to be able to pull this off on every day.
Greg Aiken is the Director of Transportation for the Volusia County School District, and pulling this off are 462 employees transporting more than 25,000 students to and from school every day.
We actually have 6 terminals. We run 228 school bus routes daily. We transport 25,414 students from 2,545 bus stops every day, both morning and afternoon.
But before any bus leaves one of the terminals,
we check all of our emergency exits, so make sure all of them are working properly before we ever head out.
Each driver conducts a thorough safety inspection, checking more than 360 items.
We actually do what we call a pre-trip inspection of each one of our school buses. The operator and attendant, when the bus has an attendant, actually inspect the school buses, every light, every stop arm, all of the equipment, safety equipment that are on that bus, including inspecting for any leaks or any tire lug nuts that may be loose. They're looking at that bus to make sure it's safe to put students on that bus.
Most of the time, the inspection is good, but if it's not,
so what they would do if they find something that is broken or missing or light out, they would actually contact what we call our dispatcher, and then she would dispatch one of our maintenance guys out to repair that vehicle if we need to on the spot, and if not, we bring it back in and put them in a spare vehicle.
every 30 days, each school bus gets a complete safety inspection by a certified mechanic, and all of the work is done in one of 4 school bus garages. And these master mechanics can and do repair everything, even warranty claims. They rebuild engines and transmissions, remount tires. They even have a state-of-the-art bus paint booth. Everything is repaired in-house, which saves money. But Aiken says the bottom line is customer satisfaction and safety.
We're customer focused, number one. You know, we are there for the parents, you know, and the students that we transport every day. Now, like I tell my staff, the 25,414 students that are on our school buses are our children, and we need to treat them like they're our children to make sure that we keep them safe from the bus stop to the school and then back in the afternoon.
All bus drivers undergo an initial 40-hour course, which covers everything from driving a bus to managing students' behavior. Drivers get another 20 hours of mentoring and 6 hours of safety skill preps, all before they ever transport a student on their own. Then every year, they take an 8-hour refresher course. Just part of the reason why Aiken says the school bus is the safest mode of transportation for children.
50 times more safer than allowing your child to either ride in a car or drive themselves to school. So it's the safest mode of transportation out there today.
And that should give parents peace of mind. For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Joanne Magley.
Friday, September 28th is World Rabies Day, which is a global health observance that raises awareness about rabies and enhanced prevention and control efforts. Stephanie Strong has more about rabies and how to prevent it in this segment of Community Health Matters.
Rabies is 100% preventable. In most cases, preventing rabies is as simple as ensuring adequate animal vaccination and control, avoiding contact with wild animals, and educating those at risk.
Our department is charged with the responsibility of ensuring that rabies is not contracted by humans. We do this by working very closely with our local animal control agencies here in Volusia County.
The vast majority of rabies cases reported to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention each year occur in wild animals.
In Florida, the major carriers are raccoons and other wild animals, and we also include feral cats in that. And we urge people to stay away from those type of animals, not be feeding them, doing anything that might draw them into their property.
The rabies virus infects the central nervous system, ultimately causing disease in the brain and death. The early symptoms of rabies in people are similar to that of many other illnesses, including fever, headache, and general weakness or discomfort. As the disease progresses, more specific symptoms appear, and death usually occurs within days.
The major thing is don't feed wild animals, feral cats, raccoons particularly, and also like if you have a pet, that you not leave your animals food outside, because again this will be drawing the wild animals into their property.
For more information, please visit www.cdc.gov. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Stephanie Strong, Public Information Officer for the Volusia County Health Department.
As always, if you have any questions about this or any other health-related issues, you can log on to volusiahealth.com. Let's go into the studio to join our Community Information Director, Dave Byron, for this in-depth interview with the Director of Veterans Services, Mike White.
Well, thanks, Amber, and hi, everyone. You know, so many people have said their Honor Air experience has been among the most moving events of their life. To listen and watch as elderly World War II veterans reunite for a day, taking in the war memorials and other sites in Washington, D.C., is a special day set aside in their honor, and it's been a memorable experience, to say the least. As the Honor Air programs comes to an end, we want to talk with County Veteran Services Director Mike White, who's been with this program from the start. Mike, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that.
You know, I don't know that there's any way to overstate how emotional and just how heartwarming it is to see these elderly veterans reunite in Washington, D.C. and be treated like heroes. It's
absolutely.
For people that really don't know anything about the Honor Air program, give us kind of a description so people will know what we're talking about.
It's a debt that can never be repaid was the kind of the motto of what it was started. Mr. Bill Mansonek started the program and got the 3 DeLand Rotaries involved, and then it just kept evolving.
Right.
We take 100 World War II veterans to Washington, D.C. For a day.
Right.
And if you just said that, you wouldn't think about it, but you have to think about what happens at Daytona Beach International Airport when these 100 veterans, their guardians, our medical staff, and all the people involved get together, go up onto the concourse, a big breakfast for them before we get on the flight. This is 4:15 a.m. in the morning, and the oldest veteran we have on this flight is 96 years old.
Unbelievable.
And he is a pistol.
Wow.
We take off and land in Reagan Airport, 2 water cannon salutes and about 200-300 people.
Wow.
Meeting us there with a band. Get on our buses. We have motorcycle and police squad cars that escort the 4 buses to every single memorial there.
Wow.
Lunch at the Library of Congress, guest speakers greeted by Congressman Micah and Congresswoman Adams. We have a day that is so thrilling and is so emotional. The World War II Memorial is like a football shape.
Right.
It's Atlantic and Pacific, and these guys just migrate right to it. The stories, Dave. The stories.
Unbelievable. I'm going to get you to tell us about one in just a minute. You know, I think we want to give credit, as you said, to the DeLand Rotary Clubs, because this is, I guess, their program. They started, Bill Mansonek, of course, active in the Rotary. But really, as the program has evolved, it's really generated huge publicity and county-wide support.
Absolutely. The County Council and Mr. Jim Deneen, our county manager, has allowed us, Volusia County Veteran Services, to take care of the personnel issues and doing a lot of scheduling and all that kind of work. And that's a good thing, because it is such a benefit. It's a debt that can never be repaid. These veterans stood up. They put their chest between the enemy of this country and our shores and says, not here.
Right.
Who knows where we'd be if they hadn't done that, a debt.
Back in those days when you enlisted and went overseas, you didn't know when you were coming back or where you were going.
You didn't know where you were going. You could go to the Pacific, you could go to Europe, Italy, any place.
Wow. Let's talk about some of the statistics of this program. How many flights have there been, and overall, how many people do you think have actually taken part in this Honor Air experience?
Well, this is flight number 10. I just read the names of the chairman of all the flights. The first one was, of course, Bill Mansonek. Flight 2 was Ray Heffington, and then Mike Hill, Bernadette Britz Parker, Brad Strickland, Roger Baumgardner, Morgan Gilreath, Mike Brooks, Jeff Felton, and of course the chairman of Flight 10 is Mr. Wayne Gordon. These are all Volusia County residents and businessmen here. And they took the time and effort to put this together. $75,000 a flight. No county money, no state money, all by volunteers, all by people giving to go on the flight. And the 1,000th veteran to go on the flight, ironically, happens to be a Rotarian. His name is Mr. Bill Seitz, Bill Morehouse Seitz.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
All right, so you leave from Daytona Beach International Airport early morning in the day, and the veterans get really a celebrity treatment in Washington, D.C. They go to the memorials, as you say, they have lunch, and just an opportunity for them to, I guess, reunite with the nation's capital, which is really the symbol of why they went to World War II in the first place, to
Absolutely.
protect what we have, you know?
Sure.
You know, Mike, so many people have said, I mean, virtually every person that I've ever talked to has said that this is among the more moving events of their life, to watch these elderly veterans and their reactions. Many of them, it brings back memories and that sort of thing. But you had an experience on one of these flights that is almost, I mean, it's, if you hadn't been there, I guess you wouldn't believe it.
And you wouldn't. And to very simply put, I believe it was on Flight 4. And when we're at the World War II Memorial, I had a veteran, and I was talking to the veteran about his service, and he served in the Marine Corps. Somebody has to.
Come on.
A little inter-service rivalry. But he was in the Marine Corps, and he had grown up in the Midwest. Him and his buddy joined the Marine Corps together. They went to boot camp together, went overseas together, and they were in the Pacific, and they were on the initial landing at Tarawa Beach, and it's bloody Tarawa because we lost so many Marines there. And when they were on the landing craft and the ramp went down, Japanese machine gun hit his partner pretty hard, and he went down. But because of his training, my veteran went off.
Right.
And he's telling me this story, and he says, will you take a picture of me at the Tarawa part of the memorial? And I said, oh, by all means. So I'm taking pictures of him. And he's telling me about his buddy that he misses, and he thinks about him every day. I mean, this was 1945.
Wow.
And we're standing there, and you could see the tears and the emotions and everything. So I says, come on, let's walk the rest of it. And he goes, all right, where do we go now? We could either turn left or turn right. There's a group of people just approaching. It was a family,
right,
and everything. And I happened to talk to him, and we made the turn. If we'd have turned the other way, he wouldn't have seen his best friend. He hadn't seen since that landing craft and that machine gun in World War II. They both absolutely collapsed. They went down, had to sit down on the benches there. They talked and everything. And it was time for us to leave. And Bill Mansonek happened to walk by, and he goes, Mike, we got to go. I says, no, we don't.
Wow.
We've got to talk to these guys. I get a Christmas card every year.
Wow.
And it's fabulous, the stories you hear.
That's just, I mean, that is so moving and so hard. I mean, it's just an incredible story. That's movies made, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, obviously this program has been so successful, but coming to an end.
Yes.
I guess the reason for that is there aren't that many World War II vets around capable of going, I guess.
Losing 1,100 to 1,200 a day.
Wow.
That really diminishes the numbers. And of course, they're getting older and they have medical problems. We have to put the flight together and consider how many are going to be in wheelchair full-time, how many part-time, how many on oxygen, the medications. That's why we have a complete medical team that goes with us. And it makes it hard. And right now, if there were to be another flight, right now coming, the next one, I should have 50% of that flight full, and I only have 7 people.
Yeah, can't fill it up, huh?
Can't fill it up.
Any thought being given to now moving toward the Korean War veterans, or is this just going to come to an end?
It's been a topic of the Rotary for a long time, ever since I've been part of this program. It's something that the Rotary has to make a decision on if they want to continue the program into the Korean War veterans and things of that nature. I know it's still out there.
Mike, what we really want to point out for the public is the last flight is going to be a really, really big celebration, and you're looking for as much public support and attendance as you can.
Absolutely.
Tell us about the next flight and what's going to happen here.
On the 29th of September at 4:15 a.m. in the morning, the Guardians and veterans and medical team will get together. From that point, throughout the day, it'll be a whirlwind adventure for everybody. Something you will absolutely positively want to be part of, but we can't take the entire county. Yeah. So we're asking you to come out to the Daytona International Airport. Get there about 7:30 at night, and join the 1,200 to 1,400 people, and the bands, and the media, and everybody who's there. Be part of it. Feel that you've had a participation in repaying a debt that can never be repaid, and welcome them home. You believe me, for the rest of your life, you'll be glad you were there. Daytona International Airport, 7:30 at night. All the veterans organizations will be there. Everybody I know. The Sheriff's Department has an honor guard.
And the date again is what, Mike?
Saturday, September the 29th.
Wow. And of course, you know, the veterans themselves they're fatigued and moved by the experience, and then when they get back to see the public support and greeting and welcome that they get, you know, it really touches them.
It does. We had one veteran, because we have a committee, and the committee takes the time and effort to meticulously try to go through and make sure everything is just right for these men and these women. And the committee does everything it can. One veteran came back off of flight 4 or 5, and he wrote an article to the newspapers and everything, and he says, you know, if Volusia Honor Air had planned World War II, it'd have been over in 2 weeks.
And you know what, Mike, you know, it's just, I don't know if we should go there or not, but the fact of the matter is that was not the same experience that our Vietnam veterans had.
That's correct.
And I know you're a Vietnam veteran, and it was a totally different time and era. And it's nice to see all military veterans receive the honor and credit that
Absolutely.
they deserve. So
we pick on the other services, just inter-service rivalry, but these men and women, at a time when this country was most vulnerable, stepped up.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, I want to thank you for sharing the information. I know there's a lot of people have been involved in this program. I know from the county family, yourself and Morgan Gilbert and our Sheriff Ben Johnson.
Oh boy,
you know, there's been a lot of folks that have been involved in this, and the sponsors are not only your clubs and organizations, but private businesses as well that have stepped up to this.
Congressman Mike put Volusia Honor Air in the congressional record.
Wow.
And read it to the congressional record and everything on the 14th of September.
Wow.
So it's part of history.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Volusia County's at it again.
Absolutely a phenomenal program. Again, that date is September 29th.
September 29th.
7:30.
7:30 at Daytona International Airport. Come up